Love, in all its forms, is an indomitable force, one that shapes and defines our very existence. But for some, love transcends the boundaries of this world. It is a love that does not fade with time or die with the body, it clings to the soul, eternal, unresolved. Tonight, we journey into the shadowy realm of those who loved so deeply that even death could not part them. These are stories of souls bound by love, haunted by unfinished business, and ghostly apparitions seeking reunion. Theirs is a love that echoes across the ages, a love beyond the grave. Emily and Charles met on the shores of a sleepy seaside town. For them, the sea wasn't just a backdrop, it was the heartbeat of their love. They had spent endless days together on the sands, exchanging whispered promises, making plans, and dreaming of a life that stretched far beyond the horizon. In the quiet of the night, under the shimmering light of 1,000 stars, they made a vow. They would be together in this life and the next, nothing, not even death, could tear them apart. But as with many tales of love, tragedy lurked just beyond the horizon. One fateful evening, Charles set out to sea, never to return. A storm of unimaginable fury struck the coast, swallowing Charles's boat whole. Emily waited at the shore, her heart heavy with dread, praying for his safe return. But as dawn broke, the only thing that washed ashore was wreckage and shattered dreams. Emily's grief was overwhelming, her love for Charles so intense that it seemed to hold her in a state between the living and the dead. Every night, she would return to the shoreline, standing where they once stood, calling out his name in the hope that the sea would return him to her. And perhaps it did, but not in the way she had imagined. I was out on the cliffs one stormy evening, and I swear I saw them. A couple, walking together by the water's edge. But they were different. Transparent. Like they were caught between worlds. Even in death, their love endures. Emily and Charles, bound by the promise they made so long ago, continue to walk the shores where their story began. Their love, though lost to the living, remains a ghostly reminder of what once was and what will forever be. In the heart of this forgotten estate, once the scene of grandeur and happiness, lies the tale of a bride whose love remained unfulfilled. Claire was set to marry Victor, her childhood sweetheart. Their love was the envy of the town, and their wedding was to be the event of the year. But fate had other plans. On the eve of their wedding, tragedy struck. Victor, who had traveled to a neighboring town to settle last-minute wedding arrangements, was killed in a freak accident. The news shattered Claire's world. The joyous laughter that had filled the halls was replaced by mournful silence. In a state of disbelief, Claire locked herself in her room, still dressed in her wedding gown, refusing to accept a life without Victor. Days turned into weeks, and Claire's despair grew deeper. She refused to take off her wedding gown, clutching her veil as though it were the last thread that connected her to Victor. And then, in the quiet of the night, Claire succumbed to her heartbreak, leaving this world with one final, unfinished wish, to reunite with the man she loved. But even in death, Claire's longing persists. Visitors to the estate have often reported seeing a woman in a tattered wedding gown wandering the halls, her eyes vacant, her movements slow and deliberate. Some say she is waiting for Victor to return, to complete the wedding they never had. Others believe she is searching for peace, unable to move on from a love left unfinished. One of the neighbors said, "I was there one evening, just as the sun was setting. I saw her, at least, I think it was her. She was standing at the top of the grand staircase, her veil flowing in the air, and her gaze, it was haunting. Like she was looking for someone she'll never find." Claire's ghost remains a permanent fixture of the estate, a bride forever waiting for her groom. Though Victor never returned, her love binds her to this world, her spirit trapped in an endless loop of sorrow and unfulfilled vows. Love, in its purest form, knows no boundaries, no time, no distance, and not even death. Henry and Sarah had shared a lifetime together, filled with memories, laughter, and love. But as Sarah's illness progressed, the reality of their final goodbye loomed ever closer. In her final moments, Henry promised Sarah that their love would continue, even after death. And though her body was laid to rest, Henry's heart could not let go. He spoke to her every night, hoping that somehow, she could still hear him. Another neighbor said. He told me once that he could feel her presence. Late at night, when the house was quiet, he would hear her voice or feel her touch, like she was just in the other room, waiting for him. And so it was. Sarah's love for Henry transcended death itself. She visited him in the quiet moments, her presence lingering in their home like the scent of her favorite perfume. She would not leave him until their love story had the ending it deserved. In the end, death could not break the bond they shared. Henry and Sarah's love was eternal, and though they had lived and died, their spirits found each other once more, their love story complete at last. These are the stories of love beyond the grave. For those bound by the deepest of affections, death is not an end but merely a pause in the journey. Their love, powerful and unrelenting, carries them through the veil of death, seeking reunion, resolution, and peace. In life, they love deeply; in death, they love still,